Let's talk about something nobody discusses but everyone thinks about. If you're a man over 50, chances are your solo habits have changed from your younger days, and you might be wondering if what you're doing is actually healthy or potentially harmful. The truth is, masturbation can be genuinely beneficial for prostate health, circulation, and stress relief as you age. But there are some common mistakes that can turn a healthy practice into something that actually works against you. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 4 biggest mistakes older men make when it comes to self-pleasure, and more importantly, I'll explain what you should be doing instead. This isn't about shame or judgment. It's about understanding how your body has changed and adapting accordingly so this remains a positive part of your life. The first and probably most common mistake is what I call the frequency trap. Either overdoing it or following some rigid schedule you think is normal. Here's the thing, your body at 50 or 60 doesn't recover the same way it did at 25. What used to be a quick recharge now takes actual recovery time. When you release too frequently, whether that's multiple times a day or even daily without adequate rest, several things happen. Your prostate, which is already likely enlarged to some degree if you're over 50, becomes inflamed and irritated. You might notice a heavy, uncomfortable feeling in your pelvis, almost like you're sitting on a golf ball. Your pelvic floor muscles, which have to contract during orgasm, become overworked and can start to ache or spasm. But here's what most men don't realize. You're also depleting important nutrients. Every ejaculation contains zinc, selenium, and other minerals that your body needs for testosterone production and overall health. When you're younger, your body replaces these quickly. After 50, not so much. Overdoing it can literally leave you nutritionally depleted, which affects energy, mood, and yes, future erections. The sweet spot for most men over 50 is somewhere between 2 to 4 times per week. This maintains what urologists call prostatic flow, basically keeping things moving through the prostate to prevent congestion without overtaxing your system. Some weeks you might feel like more, some weeks less, and that's perfectly normal. Listen to your body rather than following some arbitrary schedule. There's also the opposite problem. Some men think they should stop entirely as they age, maybe because of religious beliefs or thinking it's undignified at their age. But complete abstinence can actually lead to prostate congestion, weakened pelvic floor muscles, and even painful nocturnal emissions. Your prostate is designed to regularly empty, and if you're not sexually active with a partner, self-care becomes even more important. The key is finding your personal rhythm. Start with twice a week and adjust based on how you feel. If you're experiencing any discomfort, fatigue, or urinary issues afterward, you're probably overdoing it. If you're having uncomfortable nocturnal emissions or pelvic congestion, you might need to increase frequency slightly. The second major mistake is treating masturbation like a race to the finish line. Many men develop what's called death grip syndrome, using excessive pressure and speed that no partner could ever replicate. This creates multiple problems that get worse with age. First, the physical damage. Your penile tissue becomes less elastic after 50. The skin is thinner, more prone to irritation, and takes longer to heal. When you use excessive force or friction without adequate lubrication, you're creating micro tears in the tissue. These might not hurt immediately, but over time they lead to scarring, reduced sensitivity, and can even contribute to Peyronie's disease, that abnormal curvature that affects about 10% of older men. But the bigger issue is neurological. When you consistently use extreme pressure or speed, you're training your nervous system to only respond to that level of stimulation. Your nerve endings become desensitized, requiring more and more intensity to achieve the same result. This can make partnered sex nearly impossible to enjoy because the stimulation is so different from what you condition yourself to need. The psychological component is equally important. Rushing through the experience keeps your body in a sympathetic nervous state, fight or flight mode. Your cortisol stays elevated, your blood pressure spikes, and instead of the stress relief masturbation should provide, you're actually adding stress to your system. For men with heart conditions or high blood pressure, this can be genuinely dangerous. The solution is to slow everything down and use proper lubrication every single time. I don't care if you think you don't need it. After 50, you do. Your skin doesn't produce the same natural oils it used to. A good quality personal lubricant, coconut oil, or even olive oil can make the difference between healthy stimulation and tissue damage. Take at least 10 to 15 minutes. This isn't about edging or lasting forever. It's about giving your body time to properly respond. Start with light touch, gradually building intensity. Pay attention to your whole body, not just your genitals. This fuller experience actually produces more beneficial hormones like oxytocin and dopamine while keeping stress hormones in check. The pressure you use should be firm but comfortable. Imagine you're holding a ripe peach that you don't want to bruise. If you need death grip pressure to feel anything, that's a sign you've already caused some desensitization and need to retrain your nervous system. It might take a few weeks of lighter touch before sensitivity returns, but it will return. The third mistake is perhaps the most impactful on overall well-being, using masturbation as a complete replacement for human intimacy and connection. Now, I want to be clear. There's absolutely nothing wrong with self-pleasure, whether you're single, married, or anywhere in between. But when it becomes your only outlet for intimacy, it can create a cascade of physical and psychological issues. Human touch, even non-sexual touch, triggers the release of oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. This hormone doesn't just make you feel good, it actually has measurable health benefits. It lowers blood pressure, reduces inflammation, improves immune function, and even helps maintain testosterone levels. When masturbation becomes your only form of physical release, you're missing out on these crucial benefits. There's also the dopamine issue. When you masturbate, especially to pornography, you get a quick dopamine hit, but it's a different quality of dopamine release than what happens during partnered intimacy. Solo dopamine spikes tend to be sharper and shorter, followed by a more dramatic crash. This can lead to what researchers call dopamine deficit, where you need more and more stimulation to feel the same reward, and normal pleasures in life start feeling flat. For men over 50 who might be dealing with the loss of a spouse, divorce, or simply the challenges of dating later in life, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking masturbation is good enough. But isolation breeds more isolation. The more you rely solely on self-pleasure, the less motivated you become to seek real connection, creating a self-reinforcing cycle. This doesn't mean you need to be in a sexual relationship. Non-sexual touch is incredibly powerful. Getting massages, hugging friends and family, even getting a haircut or manicure provides some of that touch-based oxytocin release. Joining social groups, taking dance classes, or participating in activities that involve appropriate physical contact can help fill this need. If you are in a relationship, using masturbation as your primary outlet instead of addressing intimacy issues with your partner can create distance and resentment. Many men over 50 assume their partners aren't interested in sex anymore, but often it's a communication issue rather than a desire issue. Masturbation should complement partnered intimacy, not replace it entirely. The balance looks different for everyone. For single men, maybe it's ensuring you're still pursuing social connections and appropriate touch. For partnered men, it might mean having honest conversations about intimacy needs and finding ways to maintain physical connection, even if traditional intercourse isn't happening as often. The fourth and potentially most dangerous mistake is ignoring what your body is trying to tell you. Men are notoriously bad at listening to their bodies. And when it comes to sexual health, this tendency gets even worse. We power through discomforts, dismiss warning signs, and assume any problems are just normal aging. Here's what your body might be trying to tell you. If you're experiencing burning during urination after masturbation, that's not normal. It could indicate prostatitis, urethral irritation, or even an infection. The prostate can become inflamed from overstimulation, and because it surrounds the urethra, this inflammation causes burning and discomfort. A heavy aching feeling in your pelvis or perineum that lasts hours or days after orgasm is another warning sign. This could be pelvic floor dysfunction, where the muscles have become chronically tight or weak. These muscles need to contract strongly during orgasm, and if they're already compromised, this can cause lasting pain and discomfort. Difficulty starting urination, weak stream, or feeling like you can't empty completely after masturbation are signs of prostate issues that need attention. While some prostate enlargement is normal with age, excessive inflammation from overdoing it can make existing problems much worse. Blood in your semen or urine is never normal and always requires medical attention. While it's often something benign like a burst blood vessel, it could indicate something more serious. Don't ignore it, hoping it will go away. Persistent genital numbness or tingling after masturbation could indicate nerve damage or compression. This might be from excessive pressure, but it could also be related to diabetes, circulation issues, or other health conditions that become more common with age. The solution isn't to panic at every minor discomfort, but to develop awareness of what's normal for you and what isn't. Keep a mental note of patterns. Does discomfort always follow certain activities? Does it last longer than it used to? Is it getting progressively worse? If you're experiencing any persistent discomfort, it's worth having an honest conversation with your doctor. I know these conversations are uncomfortable, but urologists hear about these issues every day. They can rule out serious problems and often provide simple solutions that make a huge difference. Sometimes the warning signals are more subtle, needing increasingly extreme stimulation, taking longer and longer to reach orgasm, or feeling completely drained for days afterward are all signs that something needs to change. Your body is remarkably good at telling you what it needs. The challenge is actually listening. So what does healthy masturbation actually look like for men over 50? It's about finding a sustainable rhythm that supports your overall health rather than detracting from it. Frequency should be guided by your body, not by habit or boredom. Most men do well with 2 to 4 times per week, but this can vary based on your health, stress levels, and whether you're sexually active with a partner. If you're dealing with prostate issues, your urologist might actually recommend more frequent ejaculation to prevent congestion. Always use lubrication. This isn't negotiable after 50. Keep a bottle of quality lube by your bed and use it generously. If you prefer natural options, coconut oil or olive oil work well, though they're not compatible with condoms if that's a consideration. Take your time, 15 to 20 minutes minimum. This isn't about performance or lasting power. It's about giving your body time to properly respond and avoiding the stress response that comes with rushing. Pay attention to your whole body. Masturbation doesn't have to be genital focused. Exploring other erogenous zones can actually enhance pleasure while reducing the pressure and friction on your penis. Many men discover new sources of pleasure in their 50s and 60s that they never knew existed. Consider timing. Morning masturbation takes advantage of naturally higher testosterone levels and can be less taxing than evening sessions when you're already tired. However, evening masturbation can promote better sleep if done gently and without screens involved. Stay hydrated. Dehydration makes everything more difficult. Achieving erection, reaching orgasm, and recovery afterward. Drink water before and after, especially if you're taking medications that have dehydrating effects. Don't forget aftercare. Just like with partnered sex, your body needs recovery time. Urinate afterward to clear the urethra. Gently clean yourself, and if you experience any muscle tension, some light stretching can help. Masturbation after 50 can absolutely be a healthy, beneficial practice that supports prostate health, maintains sexual function, and provides stress relief. The key is adapting your approach to match your body's changing needs and capabilities. Avoid the four major mistakes: overdoing frequency, using excessive speed and pressure, replacing all human connection, and ignoring your body's warning signals. Instead, develop a mindful, moderate practice that enhances your overall well-being rather than detracting from it. If something doesn't feel right, trust that instinct and seek medical advice. If you're struggling with the isolation that can come with aging, remember that masturbation is just one part of a healthy, intimate life, not a complete replacement for human connection. Find the balance that works for you. Be gentle with yourself, both physically and emotionally. And remember that sexual health is just health.